Welcome to my review of episodes 3 to 8 of The Earth on my channel. Let's talk about everything that happened across these episodes. If you haven't watched the series yet, you should definitely go check it out. These episodes might actually make you laugh so much your stomach hurts. They're incredibly cute, entertaining, and honestly so well done. At this point, I don't even need to talk about the cinematography or the color grading anymore because I've praised it so many times already. Since it's from the same director as Love Design and The Loyal Pin, the visuals, the settings, and the overall aesthetic are just as impressive. Everything looks amazing. The acting is also outstanding. The cast really delivered. We even get to see all 4 Wattenwanich cousins together, and every single one of them did such a great job. The chemistry between Apple and Min is easily a 10 out of 10. There are so many adorable moments throughout these episodes. In the earlier part, you can really see how much Lom carries Din. Without Lom coming up with plans and helping her, Din probably wouldn't have been able to win Rozov. Honestly, they had only just reunited not long ago, so proposing that early could really scare someone. But the proposal itself was sincere. It was just the timing that wasn't quite right. Rose had just come back, and suddenly Din proposed, so of course she panicked. If I were Rose, I would run away too. After that, Rose avoids Din, and then Din avoids Rose as well, which is honestly kind of funny. But the jealousy scenes? So cute. Rose might have run away from the proposal, but the moment she sees Din with Kay, she appears instantly. 1 second she's inside, and the next second she's already standing right next to them. Her expressions and gestures make it obvious that she has feelings. Every time she sees Din with Kay, she switches straight into jealous mode, even before they officially have a relationship. At first, Rose didn't plan on accepting the proposal. But in the end, maybe because she was so jealous, she throws the whole "you should fall in love before getting married" idea aside and accepts Din's proposal anyway. It's like she just wanted to secure Din first. And honestly, this series is just so good. Lom is another highlight. Every time she appears, she looks incredibly cool. The action scenes like holding a gun, chasing down criminals, and even jumping over the sofa are all done so well. In real life, Freen is quite gentle and not really into physical activities. But as Lom, she completely transforms into someone strong, sharp, and full of charisma. But when she interacts with Din, she's super playful and adorable. She teases everyone, literally every girl she meets, even Rose. And later on, in the water, she even teases Chonlada. At this point, the only way to stop her is probably to summon Princess Blue to seal her teasing powers. There's also that super cute moment where Din wakes Lom up in the middle of the night just to celebrate because Rose accepted the proposal. Honestly, Lom is probably the most pitiful one in that situation. Then we get the wedding preparation arc, and it's honestly chaotic in the funniest way. Din's 3 cousins are ridiculously multi-talented. One runs a whole resort but ends up acting like a full-time wedding planner. One is a lieutenant, yet somehow she's out here doing everything from security to holding reflectors to even running around with a bubble gun for wedding photos. And then there's Fai, who literally owns a mine, but somehow ends up working as a wedding photographer. The scene where Lom runs around shooting bubbles for Din and Rose's wedding photos is absolutely hilarious. Seeing a lieutenant who usually holds a real gun now holding a toy bubble gun is just way too cute. With cousins like that, Din doesn't even need to hire anyone. They can handle everything. And Din, after waiting for Rose for so many years, is clearly not used to physical affection. Just one kiss, and she literally passes out. Meanwhile, her cousins are all laughing and teasing her, especially Fai, who even tells her not to die. That whole scene is so funny. After the wedding, it turns into a series of moments where Rose constantly teases and flirts with Din. Even before the wedding, Din was already struggling to handle it. After getting married, it's even worse for her. Then comes the honeymoon. Ma Dang, not knowing it was a fake wedding, prepared super sexy sleepwear for Rose. Meanwhile, Lom, who does know, still teams up with Nam to decorate a very romantic couple room for them. These cousins are truly chaotic. The scene where Rose changes into her sleepwear and hides under the blanket, and then Din accidentally pulls it off, their expressions are priceless. Rose, who usually teases Din nonstop, suddenly gets shy, while Din immediately looks away because there's no way she can handle it. Honestly, this feels like a comedy sometimes because it's just so funny. The massage scene? I was embarrassed just watching it. If I were Din, I'd probably pass out on the spot. After the honeymoon, we get Rose's intense jealousy arc. Even though it's just a fake marriage, she gets so jealous of the girls around Din that she even listens to Madang and tries different ways to get Din's attention. Din gets so confused that she even goes to Lom for advice. And the result of all that jealousy? Drunk scenes. Very chaotic drunk scenes. Both of them are the same once they're drunk. They become bold, kissing everywhere. But right at the important moment, they both fall asleep. It's so frustrating. Why fall asleep at the most important moment? And the next morning, they forget everything. I was speechless. Then moving into episode 6, the tone shifts a bit. It's not just laughter anymore. There's a clear emotional pause. The story becomes more intense, more dramatic, and honestly a bit nerve-wracking. Even though I had read the original story and could guess some parts, the adaptation still feels very fresh. It's romantic, sweet, and has a really soft emotional tone. Min, especially for a first role, did an amazing job. Her acting from her eyes to her gestures is seriously impressive. This is also where the antagonist starts to become more visible. Cave's jealousy becomes very clear when she sees Din and Rose being happy together. And Rose? She openly shows her love without holding back, which only makes things harder for Caillou. Honestly, if I were Caillou, I might also lose my way. Watching someone you've loved for years be affectionate with someone else right in front of you is not easy. Din, on the other hand, is a bit too oblivious and doesn't notice things right away. But when she finally realizes, she at least listens to Lom and tries to make things right, and the way she apologizes is actually very romantic. Then we have the hospital scene after Din gets shot. Din and Rose are having a soft, emotional moment, but the second it cuts to Lom and Fai, it becomes chaotic and funny again. Those two together are just comedy gold. At this point, it's also almost confirmed who the spy is. And honestly, I feel bad for Caillou. Because of love, she ends up making the wrong choices and gets involved with Wasu. Once things go too far, there's no turning back. When everything is revealed and she breaks down crying, it's honestly heartbreaking. The scene with Rose and Wasu is also very intense. I was genuinely nervous watching it, but thankfully, everything turns out to be part of Din and Lom's plan. And when Lom walks in with a gun, she looks incredibly cool. Normally, she's playful, but when she gets serious, she's unstoppable. Even the way she challenges Wasu at the police station is so attractive. Then comes the moment when Din and Rose reunite, and of course, Rose has to mark her territory. After seeing someone else kiss Din on the cheek, there's no way she's letting it slide. I was really looking forward to that moment, but just when things were getting intense, Din stops. That moment felt like going from heaven straight to hell, but it makes sense. Din is gentle and respectful. Even though they love each other, she wouldn't go further without proper approval and a real wedding. By episode 8, the emotional weight really hits. The scene where Rose returns the ring and they have to separate for a while is so touching. You can really feel it. She had already won over everyone around Rose, and now she's basically trying to win over her future father-in-law too, on her way to winning Rose's heart. The way she sneaks around just to see Rose is both funny and cute, especially when she gets caught hiding in the closet holding a flower. And that moment where she raises her hand to show the ring, silently telling Rose that she's still waiting, it's just so sweet. The proposal scene is also beautifully done, soft, emotional, and very complete. Overall, this series is genuinely amazing. From the acting to the storytelling, everything deserves praise. I also really love how they set up the next story. The moment Lom tosses the bouquet toward Nam clearly hints at the next part of the project, which is the water. That transition is so well done. I'm really excited for what's coming next. Especially seeing Nam's reaction, it feels like she's starting to think about love herself. Also, I have to say, Fai and Lom together are just hilarious. Every time they appear, it's chaos in the best way. This whole cousin group is so lovable. With the Earth coming to an end, I can honestly say this project has been a huge success. It's impressive, emotional, and very memorable. Next up is the water, so let's look forward to it. If you haven't watched The Earth, I highly recommend it. It definitely deserves a top spot among early 2026 series. And if you've already watched it, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think.